Alrighty. Now, if you've been following my stream at all or whatnot, I stopped streaming about 6 months ago. I was talking about the life-changing incidents that happened to me. And there's a couple of videos that I was going to make that I really didn't want to make, that I never thought I'd have to make, but this is the first one and probably the worst of the two. I meant to pre-record this for reasons, but I can't figure out how to pre-record and where it's put in the files. I wanted to get it done, so I'm doing it like this. But I'll start by saying this is going to be a little graphic. It involves a situation post-violence. You're not going to see the violence, but you're going to see the result of the violence. And this will be a little bloody and gory. So if you are squeamish, this might not be a video for you. I got some pretty graphic pictures and videos I am going to share. This is not video game. I tell you, I'm trying to do videos other than video gaming. This is real life. This happened to me, and it was terrible. So before I get into the content, let me fill you in on the story. My little brother is insane. He is a self-professed Nazi, an ex-heroin addict that went meth addict. He basically tried to steal the house from me that my ma owns and is leaving to me. There was a situation where he pulled a gun on me, and when the police got there, he managed to convince the police I had the gun, and I got arrested for the crime of standing in my own kitchen. That's why the officer makeup along Captain Bag of Donuts decided to arrest me for the crime of standing in my own kitchen. When they realized that's not an arrestable offense because it's not even a crime, they switched around the paperwork, decided I'm the one with the gun. I had to wait over a year for a court date due to COVID backups and everything. Sometime in this passing July of 2023, I finally got my court date. I tell you, most of the judges I've gone in front of in my life were not judges. They were piece of shit, Nazi fucking assistant prosecutors that pretend to be judges and help crooked prosecutors win cases. However, the Honorable Giovanni down at the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice, he is not one of these assholes. He's an honorable judge. He's old, but he's not senile old. He is experienced old. He saw right through the lies of my little brother and the police, ripped them to pieces, and thankfully found me not guilty. I wasn't allowed in my house when I got bailed out because of the domestic. He couldn't have us live in the same house until the matter was settled, but kind of never got settled. But when he found me not guilty, I was allowed to move back into my own house. My brother thought he had won, and then he lost everything. He basically, my house is a duplex, like a lot of houses down here are, but my mom bought the whole house, and the basement is my private apartment flat I was renting from her. Less than 30 days after the trial, I guess he snapped, and he had been threatening me multiple times. He bought a gun with the intention of killing me, made threats. He didn't threaten me directly, but I could hear him talking to his friends, planning out how he was going to kill me, trying to get people to help him. Repeatedly cried to the police for help. I was like, dude, my brother's insane. He's going to kill me. But less than 30 days after the trial, he snuck up behind me and shot me twice, and I almost died. So this is going to be some graphic stuff. I got this. I'm not good at editing, so I got the things pulled off to the side. So first, I'm going to show you this. I was upstairs in the living room cleaning up. The year I wasn't allowed in the house, him and his meth addict friend just turned my house into a trap house and trashed it. But as I'm walking downstairs, I thought at first he hit me with rock salt because it didn't feel like what you would expect a gunshot to feel like. And going down the steps, I started bleeding. Give you a warning here of what you're going to see. There's that picture. I'll zoom these in so you can get a better look. But there's some of the blood there. And there's a lot of the blood that'll be covered in the video. There's some audio, but if it comes out bad, I will just talk over it and redo it. He basically came up behind me, and thankfully it was a small pistol and I drank my milk. He put the gun to the back of my head and pulled the trigger, and it bounced off the vertebrae in my neck and lodged in my shoulder somewhere. Thankfully did basically nothing. The gun was so close to my head when he pulled the trigger, the report, the black powder expulsion followed the bullet into the back of my neck, and the side of my neck swelled up like a balloon. Felt like a rubber or a balloon animal just balled up and stuffed in my neck. When my hand flew up to the pain, my neck was already swollen, and I could feel the grit from the gunpowder. That's why I thought it was rock salt. And as I turned away, he shot me again through the midsection. And I fell over. It didn't even really hurt. It felt like I got gently punched in the side. It doesn't feel like a bullet. I just fell down out of reaction, and I saw him trying to rechamber the gun. And I ran downstairs to get away from him. What probably saved my life was a piece of junk illegal pistol he bought off the street. It's an automatic, and if you don't know, an automatic, it auto cycles. You just tap the trigger and it keeps firing. It's a top slide. His gun was broken and it don't cycle, so he's got to manually rack that slide between every shot, and it kept misfiring. He only got 2 shots off. He tried to dump that whole magazine into me, which probably would have killed me. The bullets kept misfiring, and when he'd chamber a new one, the unspent round would hit the ground. The police found 3 bullets at his feet where he was standing that didn't discharge. Went downstairs, called 911, and that's when I noticed I really started bleeding. Well, I'll go over the injuries, but I'm going to play this video. I'll give you a warning. There's a lot of gore in this video. So if you're squeamish, this is probably not one for you. And also, the police took my phone as evidence. It was completely covered in my blood, so my mom got me a new phone. And I didn't know where I had the phone upside down in this video. So let me get the sound up, make sure you can hear. And I'll start playing this video. It's a little messy down here because of reasons, but you can see the blood stains there, and that's not really showing out there. You can see on that, and on this bag, probably some blood there. It looks like blood. And there on my old computer desk. This right here is the shirt I was wearing. You can see it's been cut. Of course, it was cut off by the EMTs when they got there, and you seen that white medical pad. That was where they started medical treatment, trying to stop the bleeding, getting ready to pull me out. They had like a leather canvas bag to get me out of the basement and into the ambulance. They came down here, My computer was set up here. I was sitting in this chair. Called 911. And the pain eventually made me collapse into the floor. And that's where I lay bleeding out. I had to slide over the door. I had locked it for protection. Once I heard the police and the EMTs come in, I had to slide myself to the door and, unlock it. Didn't want them to have to tear the door off to get to me, which not much of a door left. How many times those meth addicts snuck in my house and pried my doors open. That's why it's such a mess. My brother would bring them in and they would party down here in my room. And it's kind of dark. As you can see down here, there's damage to that door when they were prying it open. That's right here. I laid here on the ground waiting on an ambulance, wondering, is it over? Is this it? Kind of scary. This is what I lived with for years, and he finally tried. So, yeah, if you know anyone that's into stuff like Nazism, anyone that does drugs like heroin or meth, if you can't get them help, you need to get the hell away from them. I want to show you one picture. This is what I tried to tell the police, and they would not listen. But this is a picture of my brother's room. I'm sorry if that offends you, but this is for purposes. But see, okay, you see the Nazi war flag on his wall, right? You see this right here? That's what they call a meth rig. That's what he smokes his meth out of. See, yay! Nazi meth addict for a brother. And it's like, oh look, there's just unsecured guns laying all over his room. But, I'm the problem. And, the night he got me arrested, May 5th of 2022, he said it was over a year for a court date. It splintered the door so bad, when I tried to open it, I got stabbed in the hand by splinters. So you're talking to the cops with blood running out of my hand. Mind you, this is several days later when I got bailed out of jail. They illegally held me for over 3 days, trying to figure out how to clean their mess up. So this is actually 4 days healed. You can imagine what that looked like fresh. So, yeah, I lived with this maniac for 20 years, and right around the spring of 2020, he started smoking meth. Fall of 2020, excuse me. He started smoking meth, and within 2 years, his brain was gone. He's always had problems, but yeah, that meth just, dude, he turned into an even different kind of monster. Now we're gonna go into a little bit more here. Show you a couple things. That was not what I wanted to do. Said I'm not good at editing, so I got to do this the hard way. But this is after I got out of the hospital 10 days later. There's a little bit of what the hospital did to me. I had hematomas because the IVs kept going bad. I woke up, then they rushed me into the hospital. I threw up blood right before I passed out. They put me under. I woke up, have all kinds of tubes sticking out of my stomach because the damage was causing me to leak bile, so they got tubes to drain that bile out. I was intubated, which means they got the tube run down your mouth into your lungs to make sure you breathe. And people tend to wake up, freak out, and try to yank that tube out. So they strap you to the bed. You can't move. I wake up, and it was just like, oh God, I'm alive. I am alive. But they had put a neck brace on me When they reeled me in, they did a quick CAT scan to find the 2 bullets. They weren't sure if there was damage to my neck. They couldn't really do an x-ray. They didn't have time for x-rays, and out of surgery you can't wheel you in a machine with all that stuff on you, but they had me in a neck brace to make sure I didn't move my neck, because they weren't sure if that vertebrae was cracked or chipped, and they didn't want me to damage my spinal cord. Thankfully, the bullet basically did nothing. It bounced off my neck. If he hadn't used such a small caliber pistol, he would have fractured my neck and I would have died instantly. This is the damage from all the IVs. The IVs kept going bad and they kept having to change them. I had, they were making hematomas in my arms. Now, one thing that happened is, let me show you this one. This is what I had to do to keep myself. This isn't graphic, it's all covered, but that's what I had to do every day when I cleaned my own wounds. The bullet went in here, so they used that hole for one of the drainage. They put another drainage here, and this is where they sliced me open. I got a scar going from below my belly button almost up to my breastbone, where they had to cut me open and get in there and fix the damage. It was lost my gallbladder, damaged my liver, which is serious. Liver shots are normally dangerous. Thankfully, he just nicked it, but he double perforated my stomach, in and out. They actually did a gastric bypass, and they moved the intestine from one side of my stomach to the other, because the one bullet hole was right by the intestine. Where they normally do a gastric bypass to help someone lose weight, in my case they put both bullet holes on the same side of my stomach, then stapled my stomach in half to shut down that side of my stomach and let the bullet wounds heal. They were temporary staples, so they'd eventually dissolve and let my stomach open back up, and that was part of the healing process. When I woke up from surgery, I had this weird bump down by my left hip that no one could figure out what it was, not even the surgeons. And I found out, this gets a little more graphic, they actually missed one of the bullets in surgery. So about 2 months after the surgery, that bump came to the surface, and I realized, oh my God, I still got a bullet in me. I had to sit at my computer desk with a knife and cut a bullet out of my own stomach. So that was fun. And that was the hole left after I pulled the bullet out. That's what I went through. That's why I disappeared for 6 months. I was completely messed up and recovering, and wow, what an ordeal, man. Like I said, it was a life-changing event. I almost died. They performed what they called a mass spectral dump. On the way to the hospital, they call it in. It's like, we got one coming in bad. They had 3 units of whole blood, a unit of some type of frozen blood, a unit of raw plasma, and one other unit of something else. You just pouring the blood back in, trying to keep me alive as they worked on me. I was hanging by a thread when I went in. So that's about the gist of it there. No more gore. Video's over with. That's what I went through. So I got some other videos coming. Another video, I got to put a piece of trash on blast. And I got a historical documentary coming. I'm trying to figure out how to get these videos moved from my various devices into a computer so I can run them through the stream. So this is the worst video I hope I ever have to make. They'll get better from here, but I'll see you guys all on the next one. Take care and stay away from Nazis and meth addicts.